We're live.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm Tim Miller. I'm the host of the Bulwark podcast. You see me on this YouTube feed. I'm here with Mona Charen, Beg to Differ podcast, Sarah Longwell, our publisher, Will Saletan, a raconteur of the Bulwark. Joe Biden just gave his first on-camera remarks since deciding to step away from the campaign, blessedly. And Oval Office remarks, clearly written by John Meacham for me. And I'm just wondering what everybody had to think about that. Sarah, you're the publisher. Why don't we start with you?
Okay. I'm gonna start with the good stuff.
Great.
I thought what there was of the speech, especially like sort of the rhetorical part about who we are as Americans, I thought that part was effective. There were a couple lines that I actually felt were, that moved me a little bit. I do think that Biden loves America. And I think that when he talks about America, I feel like I understand the America he's talking about in a way that when Trump talks about America, I'm like, this is not who we are. Like the way that he describes us makes me feel crappy. And the way that Biden talks about America makes me feel good and makes me feel, Tocquevillian. Is that how I say that?
Meachamian,
That's good.
Tocquevillian, and
Well,
Meachamian.
Tocqueville, so America is great because her people are good. I think that's Tocqueville. So I
So
thought it was fine. It was Mona's gonna tell me I'm getting it wrong, that I don't what I shouldn't
Oh
try
no,
to
Mona,
Nope.
correct her.
no.
What is
I
it?
bit my lip.
Who
I'm
is
not
it?
going
Mona,
to
correct
say
her.
anything.
Correct her. It's too late now. Do it.
Who who really said it? What am I
Um,
getting wrong?
so this is one of those, like I didn't know this either. I'm really not trying to set myself up as like the school marm here. With the rise of the internet, we found out that most of the quotes that we thought were real are actually fake. And that's one of them. It's like
Oh,
even Eisenhower used that, thinking that it was wrongly attributed to Tocqueville, that America is great because she is good. And it turns out that Tocqueville never said that. So I'm just throwing that out there.
It's a good
okay.
sentiment.
Well, I read Democracy in America a long time ago, so but whatever. The point is, when he talked about America, I thought that part was good. Uh, I got a couple nitpicks here, but maybe one big nitpick, which is
Okay.
he said very little about Kamala Harris. Uh, like I think he gave her three adjectives. She's tough, she's smart, something else.
He
I
is
don't know.
Yeah.
experienced. I wrote him down. Experienced, tough, and capable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could have stood for like slightly more of him explaining why she was fit to meet the moment. I thought that was a really big missed opportunity.
Okay. Will, you're gonna find the pony because I think me and Mona will probably also have some missed opportunities. So Mona, why don't we save Will for last? Cleanup hitter. Mona, what'd you think?
100% agree about the missed opportunity there to praise Kamala Harris and really give her a huge boost. I liked the parts where he expressed gratitude to the American people. I have not heard him do that before. That was much needed and frankly much appreciated. Um, and in many ways, I thought it was an excellent speech about his feelings about the country and about who we are and all of that. So I liked aspects of it, but this is going to make people not like me. But I'm sorry, I feel strongly that he he did. He said this is bigger than any one person's ambition, but he allowed his own ambition to lead to a really, really dicey situation when democracy really is on the line. And he should never have put us in this position in the first place. And he should not have dragged his heels for 3.5 weeks after that debate and put the Democratic Party and the country through such an agony of waiting for him to finally see reason. He didn't see reason. They had to finally threaten him. I mean, it was really bad. And I think the reason that I know you disagree, people in the comments, I know, but
I
I'm going to
agree.
just say my piece.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That the reason that the one of the reasons that the party came together so fast for Kamala, I believe, is because they had just been torn apart by what Biden was doing. There were the pro-Biden people and the people who were saying he's really got to go. And it was agonizing. And so there was just this feeling of after he finally said, okay, he'll leave, people were like, great, let's just unite on Harris. No more fighting. Let's just be together.
Yeah. I agree with that. I had an admonition before I walked upstairs from my husband to show the president some grace. And so I'll try to do that. I agree with everything that you just said, though, Mona. And again, well, I guess my positive is, whew, thank God we don't have to kind of hold on to our butts every time the Democratic candidate is talking from here until the end of the campaign. And I'm kind of looking forward to him at the convention now. I hope he speaks right before Kamala. It's a very strong contrast for Kamala, exactly the kind of opener that you're looking for. The thing that disappointed me about the speech, all the odes to America, I like. Good. I like it. Meacham, I like. I like the America is good element. It was nice. The it's not about me, it's about you. It's true. Better late than never. On that, I just like I didn't think the speech was useful to advancing the efforts to beat Donald Trump, and this like continued to be my problem with the president throughout the campaign. Is like I don't know, some high-minded rhetoric about the nation would have been good, followed by maybe a little tease of Donald Trump's time for the old guys to get off stage, don't you think? Followed by boy, Kamala's bringing. I think tied to that, I could have used a little bit more about Kamala. I could have used a little bit more um, things that would have been politically advantageous. I know you're not supposed to think about that in the Oval Office remarks, but I didn't. I thought that there was a lot of defense of the record, and Kamala stood shoulder to shoulder with me, which is not that helpful. And thoughts about how Donald Trump's a threat to the republic, which is true. But anyway, you see the contrast. We talked about this. JVL talked about this in his video between how Kamala is now attacking Trump versus what you saw from that. And I think the new method is much more effective. So, Will, give us our ponies. Give us our ode to Joe Biden. You got something positive to say?
Okay, do you want me to start with the criticism or the pony?
Ponies. We need ponies.
The pony. Okay,
Momentum is flagging on this.
You've all missed the pony. You've
Okay,
all
good.
completely missed the pony. All
What is
right,
it?
here's the pony. The pony is, people, Joe Biden is alive. He's alive. Okay. I wasn't sure because I've been reading Twitter and everybody said he was dead. He was weekend at Bernie's. They're covering it up. He died of COVID or whatever it was he had, or just of dementia. He is alive. Unless this is pre-recorded. Tim, you guys tell me. Did you see any clues
I
in
think
the
it was
background?
live. Pretty sure
Okay.
it was live.
We
Okay.
need him to hold up a newspaper.
So I'm so grateful that President Biden is alive. He was also, he finished his sentences. But look, this speech would disturb me a lot. Look, I'm grateful. Also, I guess it's another pony that he's not the candidate, given what we just saw tonight. Here's a guy who we've seen him have trouble in interviews. He bragged about being able to go out and give speeches where he had a teleprompter. Here we see him with a prompter, with a prepared speech, and he's still fumbling it. Look, I've said all along, Joe Biden has a talking problem, not a thinking problem. I still agree with that. Big decisions. He's fine making those decisions. I'm not worried about him for the next several months while he's still president. But man, the guy his voice is weak. He was stumbling over stuff that he was supposed to be able to complete because he presumably practiced it. You can see that he no longer has the ability. His face doesn't react. He's lost the power to do expression. And as a candidate, this would be absolutely disastrous. So pony number 2 is I'm super grateful that he's not going to be the candidate. Even though I trust him to make the decisions, he cannot make the sale. I think we're basically in agreement about that. The speech itself, guys, I'm sorry. I thought it was total boilerplate. I don't think anything about the speech was memorable. I'm looking at it, unity. This looks like, sort of I don't want to say anything mean about John
the
Meacham.
Benjamin Franklin line about Republic if you can keep it.
That was original. The stuff about, unity, also original. Telling the truth, leveling people, decency, respect. I have never heard Joe Biden say these things before. So I think none of this speech is going to be memorable. I think ordinary people, to the extent they see this speech, will be like, that guy is too old to be president.
Thank God. Maybe that was politically useful.
Yes.
All right.
Some
No,
people
you
I
failed.
couldn't help noticing. Sorry, can I just say
No,
one
please.
quick point? Some people I couldn't help noticing, I'm sure are going to pick up on the fact that he looked into the camera and he said, I always said I'd level with you. And there are millions of people in this country right now who feel that he did not level with us about the very most important thing about his own capacity to do the job. So that was unfortunate.
It was. I will move to the more fortunate. Not great. We don't grade on a curve here at the Bulwark. So there you go. You got our thoughts about Joe Biden. I don't know. Did any of you have the displeasure of catching any of Donald Trump in Charlotte today?
Oh
I
yeah.
Will
did.
did. Sarah did.
A little
Great.
bit, a little bit.
Everybody did a little bit. So for the field, I mean, Donald Trump is running about himself, and not the country, and so it is a contrast in that sense. He seemed like an angry man. He is a man who's never done anything for anyone besides himself, and so I guess doing something belatedly for yourself is better than never doing it, right? I don't know. Any who wants to take? I guess Sarah, do you have any first swings at Donald Trump in Charlotte or Donald Trump in general?
I'm going to take a first swing, and it's not going to be the nicest because I'm going to talk about both Biden and Trump. So I watched them back to back. I was watching Trump's, and then I went over to Biden. And when I first saw Biden, I went, they put a lot of orange makeup on him. And
Yeah.
I don't know why they put so much orange makeup on him. Why did they do this? He looks like Trump. It was interesting. I had just been watching Trump and saying, Trump looks terrible.
He
He
looks bad.
looks, he's really sweaty. Like
Yeah.
he's very sweaty and like, he's also like he's mad about Kamala. Like it is all over him. He has just got, that like twitchy rage about him when he's talking, and he can't stop talking about Biden. I mean, and I want to go back to the speech for a second. It's not even that I think Biden didn't do it justice for, you know, the campaign or for Kamala. I didn't think he did himself justice. Like I don't know. I felt like just like 6 minutes long. I don't know. I thought
You
we
wanted
could.
more?
Uh,
I
I
was
think
back and forth tagging.
I would have taken more if it was good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
Uh,
want
I just like,
disagreement. Agree to disagree on that.
I think a lot of people were watching it. Like you just don't get that many times where like people's intrigue is high enough that they're going to tune in and watch you talk for 20 minutes straight to
You
camera.
can't talk for 20 minutes straight.
I guess that's right. I guess that's right. I don't know. I don't know. I thought and I'm going to just fight with you guys a little bit on this. Obviously, I think he should have stepped aside a lot sooner. I just generally think it's never too late to do the right thing. I mean, that's not
No.
technically true. Like sometimes it is too late, but like I'm going to go with it's never too late to
As
do
a
the
general
right thing.
principle.
Because we are in a good and better place now, and he could have not done it. And so I guess I feel like he could have given us more about the decision. He kind of did a like, I wanted to run again. I thought I had it, but I guess I decided it's for younger people.
Yeah, I thought it was very the party unity. That's where he started. I thought it was very
Yeah.
important. Like I thought he didn't say it, but it was very clear that he saw that the party couldn't be unified. And he is a party man, if nothing else. Um, I don't. I guess I want to ask Mona and Will about Trump, but do you guys have anything else on that part about the missing rationale?
The missing rationale for
Pushing out for it.
Biden, like he didn't give us a rationale still.
Oh, no,
No.
that's
What is he supposed to do? Okay.
but I do want to say something about the Trump rally today, which is I cannot believe that CNN was carrying it live again. Like we're right back to 2016. They were carrying the whole thing.
Oh, I'm
I
glad
couldn't
about that.
believe it.
I'm glad about that.
You are?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you because
Go for it.
the
Hash it
American
out.
people are going to see it and they're going to say, "Oh, this guy is really terrible." I think we made that bet once before.
No, see, this is I actually my big problem is I think that Donald Trump being kicked off Twitter, having his mic cut off at the debate, not having his speeches carried live. I think every move that is made that protects people from hearing what a lunatic Trump is and from hearing him unfiltered is a gift to Trump. And I think I'm glad they're starting to carry him live again because people need to hear how crazy he sounds. He sounds stupid. Like, and I got to tell you, when you go from Trump to Biden, Like what I want to do right now is take a long, cold drink of a Kamala tight 20 stump speech
Yeah.
because they're good.
17 minutes. It was
It's
good. It was a
good.
clean 17 minutes. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's there are 2 or 3 clear messages. It's a very nice, tight stump speech for Kamala. Will, Sarah said something earlier I wanted to dig in more on, which just ties to this Kamala thing. Trump does look awful. And the other gift, if you will, the other pony that Biden gave us, is we can really talk about that now. Like this is a great contrast all of a sudden, which is Kamala looks great. She looks vibrant. She has energy, and Trump is up there. I don't. Did you see the golf videos of him, or did you see him on stage tonight? I do think that he's looking a little haggard, a little worse for the wear.
Yeah. Well, he looked bad, but I would say what he said was worse. Two things. First of all, on Biden,
Yeah.
I want to agree with Sarah about it's never too late. And although I agree with Mona about Biden shouldn't have dragged his feet this long, I wanted to adopt the position of gratitude. Joe Biden could have held on to his delegates. He could refuse to get out. He could have made this impossible. He did the right thing. And I am super grateful for that. I'm super relieved about that. On Trump, this rally today, it's not been a week since he did his convention speech and talked about unity. And there was all this talk about a new Trump, serene, calm, unified Trump. That blew up, right away. And today it was insane, absolutely insane. In fact, he said, I said I was going to be nice, but I'm not going to be nice anymore after a few days later.
No more Mr.
Okay.
Nice Guy Trump.
We've all we're doing CNN criticism, Mona. Like, I guess CNN bought that. So I guess I'd rather see the live, unfiltered Trump than have a panel of people like, boy, I was pretty impressed by the unity tone from Mr. Trump tonight.
So
you're right about the alternative. Yeah.
We've been freaking out for a month about how we can't fix Joe Biden. And all we could do was hope he would get out of the way, and he did. You can't fix Donald Trump. They drew this speech up for him. They told him the message, right? And he's blown it all up. And this speech, this rally today, he went after both Biden gratuitously, as you guys pointed out, because he's not running against Biden anymore, and Harris. And he called her, first of all, he called her Lion Kamala, the whole speech. He said in there, it took Joe Biden 3 years to learn how to pronounce her name. And yet throughout the speech, he deliberately mispronounced it, right? We know why he does that, right? Mm-hmm. There's a certain color to that. He called her a lunatic. He called her dopey. He called her, what else? He called her unhinged, low IQ, lousy student, failed.
He said that she couldn't pass the bar.
Right.
Didn't she pass the bar?
Yes.
Sure she passed the bar.
She had to pass the bar. I think she should handle that whole, we knew this was coming, this business of mispronouncing her name to show disrespect. And I think it's really important for her to laugh that off and just be like, he'll have to call me Madam President soon enough, or something like that. And just, don't go for it. Don't be offended. Don't be righteous. He's such an ass. Just laugh it off.
What do we think about Lion Kamala? It feels like he's lost a step on the nickname.
He's retreading his nicknames. It was Lion Ted.
You can't do lion one syllable and then 2 more syllables. It doesn't flow.
Right.
Crazy Kamala was right there.
Yeah.
Commie Kamala.
Well, actually, on that score, did you see that ad or video that McCormick put out that points out all of her left-wing positions?
Yes.
That is where the Trump campaign is probably going to go. And I'm worried about that because she did stake out some pretty lefty positions in 2019 that could come back to haunt us. And I don't know, how she handles that.
I agree with that. We'll be talking about that more on the podcast coming up and on the live stream. I do think, Mona, I just wonder, I think that stuff will work on TV ads, but these guys just can't help themselves. Like, to Will's point, doing low IQ. Did you see the Fox News guy that called her the Hawk Tuah girl? All the DEI stuff. These guys, they cannot help themselves. Maybe Chris Lasavita and Susie Wiles can help themselves. I'm a little skeptical of Chris Lasavita. He's been a little unhinged on Twitter himself lately. But Trump cannot help himself, and like doing the low IQ thing. It's like, isn't that going to kind of outshine, at least in the conversation, any of the specific criticisms of policy? But might that work in Kamala's favor, or is that, or am I really digging deep into the pile of what, looking for something positive
I
on
think
that?
it depends on how she comports herself. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like Kamala. I would like to see her, she's getting to reintroduce herself to the country. I've been saying this a lot because this is true, that the vast majority of voters who even have a negative impression of her, it's negative because they feel like they don't see her. They don't know what she's done, which means, and they're all ears. I mean, I've been listening to these swing voters and they're like, give me your best pitch. I'd love to hear it. Tell me who your VP is going to be. I'm interested. And so I think if she reintroduces herself as somebody who wants to be, tough on the border, like Biden brought up the tough on the border stuff. That was like one thing he leaned into in that speech. He wanted to give a stat. Border crossings lower than they were when the last administration was in. I think she should talk about that. And I think that she should rebrand herself as a moderate-ish prosecutor type who wants to secure the border and go after Donald Trump. And I think that, yeah, the point is that they are going to try to brand her as a California far left liberal and who's destroyed the city of California or the city of San Francisco, which, by the way, is an easy thing for a lot of voters to tag onto. They understand that San Francisco is like not doing its best. So I think she's got to fight that. That's the big thing they're going to throw at her. But I do like the DEI candidate and this stuff. And like with JD Vance talking about unmarried cat ladies, these guys are they're really, really just going all in on who they are. It's a lot of exposure for them. Nice, clear picture. And this is why I think the American people need to see what they're dealing with. I think they need to see Trump on his crazy rants on the podium. And I think they need to see JD Vance hating women, both of them hating women. I think they need to see the Republican Party behaving as racist. I mean, Mike Johnson had to call them all together and be like, hey guys, let's be less racist. Try not to be racist if you could manage it.
Do you listening to you right there, do you I'm starting to have second thoughts on your original point that the president should have spoken more about Kamala. She needs to introduce herself right now. Maybe less is more. Coming from the White House. Maybe she should be able to introduce herself as a fresh page turn.
You know what? Maybe, but I gotta say, there is a sense among people that Kamala didn't earn it. Like, this is the thing I'm hearing from swing voters. It's a big part of what Fox is pushing, is this idea that like, why her? Why did this happen? Did she push him out? Was she always controlling things? Like, these weird things hang over their relationship. And I think he could have done a lot in that moment to say, look, I thought I could do it, but I've been watching her. And man, is she ready to do this job? I couldn't stand by and without, like, he could have done so much. Like, that the speech was fine if you take it as its own, but if you see the missed opportunity of it, you start to see it everywhere of the things he could have done, both to amplify her, to pass the torch in a real way, not just say the words pass the torch, not just say the words younger people, but give a full-throated pitch for why she's the right choice.
Yeah. And if he had just injected a little bit of the warmth that was evident in that call-in to Kamala when she was at the campaign headquarters the other day, where I think, Tim, I disagree with you a little bit on this because I thought that was effective. I thought it was even kind of moving. I mean, first of all, the second gentleman was wonderful, and also the byplay between Harris and Biden was nice. And I think, just a little bit of that would have gone a long way tonight also. Just that sense of warmth and support and how much she has impressed him and how much he thinks of her. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Look, I hear you guys about what you wish Biden would have done, and I wish he could have done that too. I just don't think he's up to it. I think Biden is, a surrogate is somebody, ideally, the ideal surrogate goes out and delivers your talking points, but better. Biden is kind of a reverse surrogate. He screws up whatever's put in front of him. So I don't think he's the person to deliver that message. Let me come back to Harris for a minute. She's really good on offense. This whole prosecutor thing is really going to work. making the case against Donald Trump. She's going to do everything Biden did on offense. She's not good on defense traditionally. She's never been good explaining herself, defending herself. And she needs to think fast because, as you guys pointed out, and Sarah, I think you said, Trump is coming at her already. The Republicans are coming at her with this sort of, it's almost a traditional Republican campaign. You're too left wing on this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
It's a throwback. It's weird because we all got used to the Trump era, and this is just like stuff that, Republicans did all along. So she's going to have to inoculate herself. And I thoroughly agree. I would pick, I think, Sarah, you were the one who said this about immigration. She needs to pick an issue, and she needs to get out there now before, because they're going to throw money at this. They're going to try to tar her before. And I've seen this done. You guys have seen Republicans do this to Democrats. She's got to get out there. I think she should pick something. I would pick the Langford immigration bill. I would get out there and say, we're behind this. We tried to do this. Trump stopped us. And brand yourself on it. You just need one issue and just drive it so the public sees you being a reasonable, moderate person. And that gets you over the threshold of, okay, she's qualified. She crosses the threshold of we can vote for her. And now we don't have to vote that jackass back into office. That's what she's got to do.
Will, are you proud of your people?
Which people?
You're the Democrats. We're all, the rest of us are immigrants to the cause, but you got your shit together.
What's
Nancy and Chuck behind the scenes. Do you see how giddy Chuck was yesterday at that press conference? I mean, he ate he was just he'd eaten some gummies or something. He was so happy with the handoff to Kamala. So, your people, everybody says the Democrats, are like herding cats or whatever.
Right. Mona, are you going to tell me that the Will Rogers quote is fake too? I'm not a member of any organized political party. I'm a Democrat.
But they got I know that's real.
And it's like half true, right? They're not organized to the point where they're cult-like in their devotion to their guy, which is why they were able to let go of him. But they were organized enough to say, okay, we're gonna fall in line behind another person quickly. Which Sarah, I know you guys wanted some other person to come forward. I think that the Harris option was the best way to go. Quickly reconsolidate, good candidate, maybe not the greatest, but very good.
Here, I will say, I don't know if I've completely revised my position. I actually think that the best outcome would have been a slight primary attempt from the left.
Yes.
Just to give her
something
a little bit
can't
of
we put Cory Bush up?
Ilhan Omar should have run against her.
Yeah, couldn't we have a squad member challenge her from the left so she could be like, "Ooh, I'm sorry, you're a little too extreme for me."
That I do think that would have been, but I basically agree with you, Will, that I think this handoff has been extraordinary, and I get Tim gave me a hard time for calling it choreographed earlier today, so I won't call it choreographed, but I do think the way that it's been done, the way the party consolidated around, and I think it wasn't choreographed. Honestly, I think it was organic. And I think it has been great. And I went from being because there is that thing. You're like, okay, well, if all options are on the table, let's concoct the absolute best candidates who are popular in the states she has to win. Political professionals are going to do that. We can't help it. But the fact is, this was the reality. Reality was Biden needed to step down. The next easiest thing was for her to do it. And I think that I would be in a different place on this. I might be giving you guys a hard time about I can't believe they didn't go with Shapiro and Whitmer here if Kamala wasn't doing a fantastic job. She really has stepped up. And God, it's early, but out of the gate really matters. And she's been superb out of the gate.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that that she has this untapped, or it's being tapped now, but this potential to excite younger and voters of color in a way that none of these other people would have done.
Middle-aged gay never-Trumpers.
Yeah, I mean, actually, did you see Jared Polis's quote? It was so funny. He said, since we did a Bulwark event in Denver, so somebody said, oh, you're on the list being considered for VP. And he said, look, I love being governor of Colorado, but, if they do their polling and they find that a balding, middle-aged, gay, Jewish governor is what they need, then they have my number.
Love Jared Polis.
We love Jared.
Yeah, he's great. He is great. Anyway, but so she has, it's really interesting. I didn't see this coming, honestly. This thing about how She is now a meme. She is cool. She is somebody who is excited. You know, she's 59, but she tracks way younger. And you know, it's just that
I'm glad you said it,
intangible.
Mona. I've wanted to say that on podcasts all week, but I'm like, is that sexist for me to say?
Oh,
I'm gay. I can say that, and it's a compliment. She does. Like she does.
yeah. No,
I thought because Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, I was earlier this week on the podcast. I was like, I don't know. He gives off too like old of a vibe. We want a next generation, and somebody messaged me and they're like, they're the same age. I was
same
like,
age. Yeah,
really?
you know.
Well, Tim.
No, but see, Obama had that same capacity to seem much, you know, to seem like he was the representative of youth, even though he wasn't that young. But yeah, so she has that, and that's fantastic. And maybe, you know, maybe she won't do quite as well with white voters in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. We don't know. Maybe she will, but it could be compensated for by huge boosts in turnout for Black and Asian and young voters, so and
All right.
Hispanics.
Comment of the day on in the comments. If Trump keeps calling her Kamala, she should call him Don Old. That's pretty good.
Good,
Pretty good little dad joke.
nice one.
I'm gonna send that
Yeah,
to the team.
yeah.
We'll let the joke meisters are they still gonna have their HQ in Wilmington? I guess so, maybe. We're gonna have the joke meisters in Wilmington figure that out. All
They
right.
don't have time to move.
Yeah, they can't move. Final question. After watching the speech tonight, on the scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you that Joe Biden is not the candidate of the Democratic Party anymore? Let's go around.
1,000 plus infinity.
1,000 infinity. Will?
10, because it feels so good when you stop beating your head against the wall.
And yeah, Mona.
Yeah. Remember when the Google was a number before it became a company? Yeah, a Google.
The
Yeah, that's
Google?
how much. Yeah.
Yeah, 100 gazillion dillion d. Yeah, same. All right. Well, there you go. We're ending on a happy note. All right, everybody. We will be back. Keep if you're on the YouTube, subscribe to the feed. I got a podcast with AB Stoddard tomorrow. Mona's got Beg to Differ later this week. Sarah's got a focus group. It's a good focus group. Can you tell people? Is it a secret?
No, we're gonna do swing voters on Kamala with David Axelrod
On Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the feed. Tell your friends. We'll see you.